is once again that time of the week when I'm gonna add a little video of me waffling tripe. This week I am going to talk a little about my gastric sleeve because it is something that I keep getting asked about, and I am on Saturday 3 months post-op. So I kind of feel like I'm really in the thick of it. I've been through quite a long journey to get to this point and felt maybe I could share it with you. Some of you may or may not know my journey with this started quite some time ago, and I was always slim. I was always in a size like 14 was my biggest, and I got divorced and I ate myself to happiness basically. I then decided that I had eaten myself to happiness to the point where I was now a great big hippo, and I didn't want to be a hippo anymore. I felt horrible about myself, my skin, everything, clothes fitting, going out. It was just awful. So I decided to go for, well, originally, to be honest, to be fair, originally I did do loads of exercise. I changed my diet, I changed my eating habits, and it wasn't enough. I worked really hard, and for all of those that say I cheated and I took the easy way out, it really wasn't an easy way out, and it really wasn't and hasn't been a cheat. I spent thousands, quite literally, on months and months of gym membership, and I didn't just go to a normal gym. I went to a gym with an amazing personal trainer who I'm dying to get back to going to, but at the moment I just financially can't afford to go. And I crippled myself with that. I was paying £260 a month or whatever it was to have a personal trainer 5 days a week. Literally 5 days a week I was going. And I was having to go before the school run because of Nicole calling every day. So I don't have the luxury that everybody else has of just making appointments and being able to attend things in the daytime. I can't do that unless Callum is at home in order to be there for if Nicole needs us. So for me, I had to go really, really early in the morning. So I was getting up at like 5:30 to be there for 6, to do my gym session, get home for like 7:20, and then get the kids to school and leave the house like 8 o'clock in the morning for the school run. So it wasn't easy, and I made a massive effort for that for months and months and months. Now I did lose some weight. Don't get me wrong, I did lose some weight, but it wasn't enough. It was awful, and I was making myself miserable because it wasn't enough. My mental health had started to suffer. So I looked into all sorts of surgery options, and my mum and Callum were worried about me doing anything major. So I decided against doing a gastric sleeve originally, and I decided that I was going to go for a balloon, a gastric balloon. So a balloon is less invasive. They basically put a tube down your throat with a deflated balloon, put it in, and then they blow it up so it literally fills your stomach, so you don't feel hungry. You like are full constantly. I had that in for 5 days, and unfortunately my body was trying to reject it. I was still trying to be sick. I was trying to sick it up, which is normal in the first like 2 days, but past that it should start to settle. It didn't for me. He did warn me, and he did say, I don't think this is right for you, and I think you'll be better off having a gastric sleeve. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I want to do this. So I wasted £2,000. Yeah, £2,000. Not fucking happy. There's a video on here of me absolutely devastated, crying my eyes out that it didn't work, and that I was in pieces, absolute pieces. So I came back, I've like sorted my head out, and I smashed the gym like you've never smashed the gym before. I smashed my calorie intake like you've never smashed it before. Yes, I did lose quite a chunk. Not enough. And the time period it was taking me to lose, again, was starting to mess up here. So for me, after chatting to the same surgeon again, I decided to go for a gastric sleeve. Now, it's 3 months later, on Saturday it will be, and I have lost way over 2.5 stone. I can visibly see the difference in my face, my appearance, my clothing, everything. And don't get me wrong, when I woke up after having it done, I sobbed. I was in agony, and I was like, why have I done this to myself? I should have just kept eating cake. Literally, that was where my brain went to. Fortunately, a few days later, I started to settle, everything started to settle. It's mostly to do with the gas. You know when you have surgery and they have to like inflate inside so they can get to what they need to get to. Obviously the gas is still in your stomach and it has to leave. So like when we first all had it done, we were all like having to, you getting straight up pretty much after surgery, not long after, and you're walking around because you've got to walk this gas out of your stomach. Obviously it comes out in belching and farting. So you can imagine all of us having not long had the operation within time spans of each other and all walking around the ward. We looked like something out of The Walking Dead. I'm not even joking. We all had, hang on, that's my front door. So yeah, where was I? We were all walking around literally like something out of The Walking Dead, trying to walk off. And also, while we're walking around, you also had to have a drain. So you had like a little bag hanging from you, from the inside of you, with blood collecting. So we genuinely looked like zombies walking around the ward. It was actually quite funny. Care wise, it was amazing, can't fault it. English speaking wise, can't fault it. I went to Cyprus Obesity Clinic in northern Cyprus for anybody who wants to go. It cost me £3,200. I know that is something that people ask me an awful lot. The reason it cost me slightly less than others if you go to them is because I didn't have to stay in a hotel afterwards. My mum and dad live in Cyprus, so my dad collected me from the hospital, dropped me off at the hospital, and obviously afterwards I stayed with him, like with my parents at their house. Everybody else who goes there, you can do it on a package, and I believe it's 4,000. And yeah, you stay at like a 5-star hotel after you leave the hospital, because you have to stay at the hospital for like 2-3 nights. I think it's 3 nights, and then after that you go to the hotel for like another few nights, and then you get seen again before you're able to fly home. I think it's like 7 nights in total or 8 nights in total, for them to all be sorted. Again, I've come home with a nutritionalist on standby, who I can message and WhatsApp to. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than I'd like for her to come back to me, but it is what it is, and it's just, you wouldn't get that anywhere else, I don't think. So for me, it's 100% been worth having it done. Now, like I say, I've lost a massive amount of weight. I'm sure a lot of you can see already from old videos on here to now what I look like. I just don't look the same. Food-wise, it's been really, really difficult mentally adjusting to what I can and can't have. Don't get me wrong, once I got to the point where I started to feel bits of hunger, and when my period was coming on and I wanted the whole chocolate and needed sugar rush, I tried it. Not that I meant to yet, but I'm going to be real with you people. I tried it, and it went through me faster than a fucking Porsche, not going to lie. And the stomach ache was horrific. Not worth trying again. So for me, now I eat little and often. I will try and do a diary, like another day of what I've eaten in a day, for people to be able to see where I'm at. And it's just about eating tiny meals, like periodically through the day. So you kind of eat 5 times rather than 3. And drinking plenty. Drinking is what is like a must do. You've got to make sure you're drinking enough. I started to exercise again, I think it was like 6 to 7 weeks post-op. So I'm now going kickboxing once a week. I go running a couple of times a week when I can, obviously time allowance. And yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. As I say, I will share some before and afters soon. I have started to share like me stood up and like full length, but obviously you've got to remember, because of the amount of followers I've got, I've also got all the people that fucking hate me from my previous past. Everyone has a past. And it's quite hard to make yourself that vulnerable when you know that people will want to critique you in every single thing you do. I do have scars. I will show you them now. For anybody who is actually watching this. So these are my scars. I have another one up here as well. Yes, I have my horrible belly, but it is a lot flatter, believe it or not. So I've started using bio oil on those to try and help reduce the scarring, but to be perfectly honest, if I've got a flat stomach, I really don't give a shit about scarring. I'm not bothered about stretch marks. Those sorts of things to me don't upset me. All I wanted to be able to do was wear a bikini again and feel confident and comfortable, the same as I do in normal clothes, which I think probably you've been able to start seeing now, that actually I feel a lot more confident about myself because of my appearance, and it has changed me. It definitely has changed me back to the person that I was before, back to being more confident about who I am and how I feel about myself, because ultimately the reason I did this was not for anybody else. It was for me and for my mental health and how my weight was affecting me. I have been asked about what I do about going back, about checkups, all that sort of stuff. I do have to do a blood test at 4 months, and that's just to check everything's all okay. I did have to have x-rays when I was there to check that I could swallow, and it was the most bizarre thing ever, being able to see the drink go down your stomach and you can physically feel it. So if I do eat too fast, it gets stuck and it hurts like fuck. And I have to take a while to swallow. So I have to really think about how I'm eating. But it's okay because it's been a lifestyle change. So for me, it's okay because it's been gradual. Being able to eat again has been gradual, and the want to eat again has been gradual. So if you're worried about doing it because you're like, oh my God, I know I'm going to be hungry, you won't be. You genuinely will not be hungry. And that is what makes it so much easier. But please don't think this is an easy fix, because it is to do with what's going on here. And if you are still of a mindset of bad habits with food, you do have to consciously make decisions about what you're putting in your body. There has been a couple of times when I've had fizzy carbonated drinks, which has been my birthday, and I had Diet Coke with Disaronno. And honestly, it started to hurt. I had two drinks and I felt really gassy and it hurt, and I had to stop drinking, and I drank water. Again, since I've had another Disaronno and Coke, it's been my go-to. And that wasn't as bad the second time, and that was last weekend. But again, I only had one and that was enough. So you're not meant to be drinking and eating things like that until you're 5-6 months post-op. So I have been naughty. Again, I'm just giving you the raw truth of what it's been. But I don't really want it. I only wanted that because I was going out and I wanted a drink that I hadn't had for ages, and I enjoy the drink and I enjoy the flavour. Does that make sense? So for me, I'm quite happy with drink. As long as I have a nice drink, a nice flavoured fruity drink, it's just not a bother. I do think a lot of people do this and don't think about the exercise situation. And the one thing I went into this thinking wholeheartedly about was, then may I have to save for potentially needing a tummy tuck, because you have to think about how much weight you intend to lose. I am over halfway of what the doctors have put me down as my goal weight, if you like, which is 75 kilos. And I'm currently 87 kilos. So I'm over halfway of where I need to be to get to it, from where I was. But it's still quite a way to go. And I guess for me now it's about how far I need to go and how far I want to go and what makes me feel comfortable in my clothes and where I want to be. Ideally, I'd like to be a size 14 again, but then that strikes up a massive conversation with what is a size 14, because again, on Facebook it was shared 3 different jeans, all size 14 from 3 different companies, and they were all completely different sizes. So I guess it's just about how you feel when you look in the mirror wearing something that you want to feel nice in, and not in a comfy clothes day like I am today. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my gastric sleeve. There are probably millions of things I've missed out saying, and millions of people are going to ask questions. So far away, and then I will do a follow-up for things that people want to know. But yeah, I've had 80% of my stomach removed, and I've lost I've lost 2 stone, 8.4 pounds in total. So yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, and hey to another week of Jodie doing a kind of podcast style, hope I haven't bored the crap out of you type video.